Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. This is the second video I'm making. I downloaded another video this morning, the Elmo video. That's one I had already to download and two that I've already made this morning, and there's still more I want to talk about. And I think these are interesting topics. Today, this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I really wonder if I'm worried about the country. I'm worried about humanity, really. It feels to me like people have just lost their compassion, have lost their empathy. A larger and larger number of people seem to just want the world to burn, that are just concerned about themselves and really couldn't care less about other people. I've been wanting to talk about a man on a reality TV show, Shipping Wars. And I was hesitant to do so because there's probably, I'm trying to guess how many of my viewers have watched this show, maybe 40, 50% if I'm lucky, so it's something I'm not sure if people will be able to relate to. But it's really not about Roy Garber from Shipping Wars. It's really more about the comments I read in his obituary, the comments that I read in, the links for this will be down below. The comments that I read in I just happened to come across another video this morning on YouTube, and it'll be down below. It's about protesters blocking the road, and it's from the Daily Mail. It's like a right-wing low-level journalism. And it's the comments that I see in this video, the comments about Roy Garber. And then I relate that to Donald Trump just last night in a rally. He actually said this. And these are all basically what I would call Trump fans. The comments on the Roy Garber, the comments on the protesters, and then Donald Trump at a rally yesterday. He said this. He was talking about our NATO allies. And he said that he would tell Russia to go ahead and do whatever they want. Like how they invaded Ukraine. He says when he becomes president, if our NATO allies don't pay their bills, then he'll tell Russia, go ahead, do your worst, have at it. And the crowd loves this. And I just can't freaking believe this. The first thing that came into my mind, I don't know if you guys, like I said, living in this the New York City area, with everything that goes on there, I'm familiar with protection rackets, paying protection money. Because NATO is it's a group of, after World War II, it's a group of well-meaning countries that vowed to look after each other for the common good of themselves and the world. After the whole thing with Germany and Italy and Japan. And, ideally we'd all pay into it, to the best of our abilities to cover the costs. There wasn't like, a hardcore membership fee or something like that. And Trump seems to have turned it into that, like a protection racket. Like, if you don't pay, I'm going to encourage Russia to invade you. If that isn't a freaking protection racket right there. And it's kind of ironic. Like I said, Trump grew up in New York City. He knows damn well that what he's saying is it's a mob protection racket. I'll put the links down below from like Wikipedia. It's exactly what he's describing. That's not what NATO was all about. It was about a group of people coming out to have each other's back. But the whole thing about paying their own, it wasn't like, either you pay or we throw you to the wolves kind of thing, which is what Donald Trump wants to turn it into. And I can't believe that this huge amount of people, these Trumpers, MAGA, that are just okay with this. They're okay with a guy that's actually talking about mafia tactics to deal with our allies. It's just, I can't believe we're at this point. All right, let me go back to Roy Garber. This is Shipping Wars. It's a guy on this show, Shipping Wars. There's guys that drive trucks, and they all bid. They compete to get loads to ship to make money. That sums it up. And there's one guy on this show. Now, I'm just the kind of guy, when I see people being mean to each other or being abrasive. I can't watch it. It's not like I'm not drawn to stuff like that. I'll turn the channel if I see somebody being, just like acting cruelly to somebody or being, mean. I can't watch it. I have to turn the channel. So this guy, Garber, he's got long gray white hair. He passed away 10 years ago, and he was one of the meanest, most arrogant people on this show. In every episode, he would say that he is the best. He is like, he's like God. He would say that he is perfect, and the job he does is perfect. And he wasn't kidding around. He was arrogant and he was serious about, which again reminds me of Donald Trump. But this is even before Trumpism. Like I said, Roy Garber passed away in 2014. And every time he went to meet somebody, he'd tell them to shut up. I was like, oh my God, if this guy ever had the audacity to talk to me like that, I could see myself just freaking headbutting him right in his face. I can't stand this guy. When he came on the episode, I would have to turn the channel. Especially with everything that he shipped, he thought was so ugly. He could, it was stupid and ugly. He had these comments about anything, especially with art. He hated art. And he wouldn't keep it to himself. He would tell the people he was shipping for. He'd tell them to shut up. Just do as you're told. I'm perfect. And I can't believe that people like that. People, admire that. Back when I was growing up, that wasn't a good quality. Okay, so let me fast forward. So I wanted to read it. He passed away in 2014, and honestly, I'm like, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. I hate to say that, but this guy was just an all-around jerk. And he was just mean and arrogant and had no empathy for anybody he related to. At least that's how I looked. So I went to his obituary, and I'll have the link right down below, and I started reading the comments. And I just couldn't believe the comments. The comments were like, oh, I loved Roy. He had such a big heart. I was like, were we watching the same show? And there was just comment after comment after comment. Now, I understand people trying to be nice because somebody passed away, but this is like, these people are saying that, I loved to see him on the show. I loved watching him, and with me, I had to turn the channel because I couldn't stand to watch it when he was on there. The way he was so rude and arrogant and mean to people, that's not entertainment to me. That hurts. That bothers me. And these people in the comments in his obituary, just one after the other, thousands of comments. Oh, he will be so missed. He was such a great guy, And I'm like, what am I missing? What am I a misfit? Is there something wrong with me that I don't understand this? Is this the way that the world is? Was Roy ahead of his time? Was he the beginning of the whole MAGA era? I think he was. He was a man before his time. He would have been ideal for MAGA and Trump. So I read these comments and I don't get it. And it makes me lose hope for the entire world. Seriously. Okay, so then I just happened to come across another video, Daily Mail, and it's about protesters. I'm not sure if this is in England. And there's people protesting, and they're in the middle of the road. They're blocking the road, all right? I don't know. I don't even know what the protest is about. Maybe it's about climate change or whatever. And the cars are actually bumping into them. Like, they're not stopping, And the Daily Mail thinks this is great. And all the comments are like, that's fantastic. That's funny. These cars are hitting the people, the protesters, and actually hitting them with the car and pushing them out of the way. And these people think it's fantastic. So I asked myself this, I'm not a Trump fan. I despise Trump. I despise the MAGA. What if I was driving one morning, I was in a hurry, I had to go to the doctor's office. I honestly ask myself, if Trump supporters were in the middle of the road, what would I do? How would I feel? And would I be angry? I kind of would. I would, but would I think about pushing them out of the way with my car? Would I get out and start screaming at them? Would I get physical like they're doing in this video. No, no, I wouldn't. First of all, you got to really look at the whole situation here. First, I find the psychology interesting. This watching these people in the middle of the road for whatever reason. And while I had to wait there, I would think about their point of view. My point of view. Do they have a point? What drives people to stand in the middle of the road? And this is the kind of stuff that would go through my head. At some point, I might get upset. But would I ever think about, pushing them out of the way with my car? No, never. Even if you have some place to go, you should be enough of an adult to leave your house early every morning, at least 5 minutes early, to accommodate for things. Stuff happens. Where are these people going that they're willing to throw other people's health and well-being to the wind? Just because they're trying to get to Dunkin' Donuts or even to work or whatever. It's just and there's thousands of comments all loving this, that these cars are pushing the protesters out of the way. And once again, I'm like, I feel so out of place in this world more and more, where there's just this rude, all about me attitude, where, there's no empathy, no compassion, no stopping to think about other people's point of view. And it just goes to a physical level right off the bat. I'm speechless. I know this video is kind of ragtag, but I hope it made some sense. Let me know. And do you guys feel like that too? Is arrogance and a lack of compassion, is that admirable qualities to you? What do you think about NATO? Do you agree with Donald Trump that if they don't, this is what he said, if you don't pay, you got to pay your bills. And Trump is notorious for not paying his bills. I've literally seen hundreds of articles where people are suing him because he doesn't pay them. House painters, caterers, what have you. There's article after article of Trump not paying people, and he has the audacity to say, you got to pay your bills, and then this whole thing with telling Russia to go ahead, have at it, our allies, throw them to the wolves because they're not paying up. Seriously, and people are gonna vote for this guy using mafia tactics on our allies over money. Unfreaking believable. Let me know what you think. The links will be down below. Have a good Super Bowl Sunday. I'll be back with another video.